Hi guys, this is going to be a complexion tutorial for all my South Asian girls and boys out there. It's actually for everyone, anyone with brown skin especially, but especially us because we are so often ignored in media, fashion, television, music, everything else. So that's why this is for us, okay? Anyways, let's get started, okay? So I know a lot of Indians and South Asians like to have a really bright white face, but it's not really that good of a look. It's not very flattering. Okay, your skin should match your neck at least, at the very least the front, especially if you have an open shirt. And it should just look like, you should have a nice uniform flow. So when you do your face and it looks really white, it's not a good look. It's very unflattering. I know some people feel like it makes them look brighter and more upper caste or whatever, but it's not cute. And it's 2024. We got to get rid of that old way of thinking, right? So let's dive right in, okay? So a good foundation that I would highly recommend would be the Lady Gaga House Labs. Okay, the reason being is because she actually makes really good colors for an Indian skin tone. Okay, so I have color here. It is called Light Medium Cool 260. This would be really good for like a medium skin brown girl. Okay, which is like myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply this with a sponge. Okay, here's my sponge. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to put that on the face, and you notice I'm going to leave the eye area kind of bare. I'm just going to gently blend up towards the eyes, but I'm not going to get under the eyes with this. The reason being is because if you put a lot of makeup under there, and you're trying to cover a dark circle, it's just going to make it look really cakey, and it's going to crease like crazy. So we're going to avoid the eye area for now. Okay. Just going to sponge on our foundation. I know dark circles and even skin tone are probably the things that we struggle with the most. Okay. So it's important that we address those while still maintaining our natural glow and our natural appearance, right? The way you brighten your dark circles can drastically change the look of your face. You can look like a completely different person if you use it too wrong or too much or whatever. So it's good to maintain, I would say less is more, but strategically placed in really good colors. Okay, so of course when it comes to corrector, I have to reach for the Vasanti, which is, in my opinion, the best corrector I've ever used for dark circles. This is a line made by a bunch of Indian girls in Canada, a couple, I think 2 or 3 sisters or whatever. Anyways, it is literally the best under-eye corrector for brown girls. They make 2 formulas. I haven't tried the new formula yet, but I'm assuming it's better than this one in terms of creaminess, but let's go ahead and dive right in. So normally I see a lot of girls filling out the whole under eye area for their dark circles, and that's not really necessary. Like, even if you have a dark circle that goes all the way around, like you can see I do right now, you don't need to put that much. So I'm going to recommend doing like a little triangle right here. Do you see that? But you want to keep it like a couple millimeters away from your actual eyeball. Okay, so it's going to look like that. And you're going to do a dot in the corner here, the darkest spot. Okay, and then we're going to blend. But if you want to do this in like express application, I would recommend that you even go ahead and you apply your brightening shade at the same time. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to put the brightening shade here. Okay. I'm going to apply a little bit more because I do really like bright under eyes. They're a guilty pleasure of mine. To me, they never get old. Honestly, they really don't. Even if like the new look is for them to perfectly match or whatever, I don't care what anybody says. I love bright under eyes. So I'm going to grab my under eye sponge. Okay, here we go. And then we're going to blend. So we're going to blend the 2 colors together, okay? And do you see how I've taken a shade that was my undertone but 2 shades lighter than my skin tone and mixed it with the corrector, and do you see how automatically that's covered up the dark circle and neutralized the darkness? Okay, we're going to go all the way around the eye. Do you see the darkness is pretty much canceled out, okay? So I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay. Go around the eye, and a dark circle is a circle, right? So it goes all the way around the eye, so you're going to want to do it all the way around, okay? Perfect. Okay, so that would be just your basic everyday face, easy peasy, good to go brown girl, okay? But if you want to brighten your skin, okay, you don't put bright makeup all over your face. That looks, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like, it looks very clockable. It looks like you're wearing too much makeup, and it's not very flattering, right? So if you really want to brighten your face and your complexion, I would recommend just taking a brighter shade of concealer, like 1 or 2 shades lighter, like I always do, and highlighting the center of your face. Keeping the brightness in the center here will still give you that bright look without looking like you're wearing too much makeup, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and apply some under my eyes, and I'm going to highlight my T-zone, okay? You definitely want to bring out your facial structure and highlight your best features, okay? Whatever your favorite features are, go for it, highlight it, right? This too also will have an effect on our facial structure, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. Okay, Okay, so I'm going to blend, blend, blend. And you'll see right away how it does have a brightening effect on the face without actually changing your skin tone. It's in this way we're just highlighting our features and not making ourselves a new white face or something. You know what I mean? So here we go. Perfect. We're going to do this part here just to enhance our facial structure. Okay, so sides of the nose, down here. Okay, perfect. See, we're already getting a more awake look without looking like there's a line on our neck or something, right? So I'm going to take a little bit of this lighter shade again, and I'm going to go underneath the eye again. Okay, and because I mixed the two shades earlier, I'm just going to use very little, and this keeps it minimal, because the more concealer you put under your eyes, the more your eyes look old and cakey, okay? And it's not that there's nothing wrong with looking older, but you don't want to make yourself look older than you really are, right? I'm applying too much concealer under your eyes will definitely do that. Okay. So you see how I've just kind of made my eyes pop too? That's a nice thing about using a brighter shade of concealer, is it really does make your eyes pop. If you like your eyes, make them pop, right? If there's more to making your eyes pop than just a coat of black mascara and black eyeliner, right? I mean, this is just a complexion tutorial, but I know in the coming weeks I'm probably going to do like a Bollywood makeup tutorial once I get my hands on some more products and can actually, do something like that. But anyways, here we go. So do you see now how that already just like brightened my face and I look much more awake, but there's no white line here or anything? See that? Okay. So now we're going to start with the powder. So I'm going to show you two different powders. So we're going to show you a brightening powder. This is the Patrick Star. It normally comes in a big thing, huge thing like this that lasts like probably a year. But this would be an excellent shade for people with really warm golden undertones in their skins, okay, or medium to dark. So this is the Sweet Honey. I'm going to apply that on one side, and I'm going to apply a translucent on the other side. And I'm going to show you guys the difference, okay? So I'll grab my powder puff for concealer. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to use a hydrating setting spray. The reason why I'm going to use a hydrating setting spray is because most Indians tend to have very sensitive skin, and our skin does not do well when it's dried out. When it's dried out, it's very sensitive, it's very prone to hyperpigmentation. If you scratch it, you'll get a mark. If you get a pimple, you'll get a mark. So you really have to make sure that your skin's adequately hydrated, okay? If you live in India and it's very humid and moist, I would recommend a mattifying setting spray like this one here. But if you live like in Europe or anywhere else, I would recommend something like the Spascription Sea Mineral Serum Mist, which is actually supposed to be skincare, but is really excellent setting spray. Okay, so this is the shade called Sweet Honey by Patrick Star. I'm going to show you this on one side. It's kind of the same idea of a banana powder, so it's got the yellow tone to counteract, but it's a little bit more peachy and less yellow. Yellow can go very ashy on the skin and make you look very dead and tired, I find. Okay, so we're going to do that on this side. Okay, so I just patted it out there. Do you see what that does? And recently I've lost a lot of weight, so I'm experiencing a little bit of hollowness under my eyes. Okay. Oops, shit. There we go. See that? The shade is a little bit dark for my skin. Like it actually matches here, but under my eyes it doesn't brighten too much. But I'm gonna do that one side of my whole face in that shade. Okay. Perfect, but it looks nice and flattering, I find. And we're gonna do the other side in a completely white translucent powder. That is if you love the way your makeup already looks and you don't wanna alter the color at all, go for that, okay? But if you do need that extra brightening and that extra coverage, use a Patrick Star Sweet Honey, one size fits powder, okay? So I'm gonna use the other side. This is gonna be the Miss Looky baking powder. This is a Canadian line, it's $12 Canadian. You can't go wrong for $12, like who are we kidding here, right? Okay. I'm all about affordable beauty. And normally I feel like for people of color, we get really shafted in the beauty industry. Like it's like there's no affordable beauty products first, and then you have to jump to more prestige products and they cost a lot, right? It shouldn't have to be that way, right? So I'm gonna do the white on the other side. Okay. And the white, if it's looking too white, that means you haven't blended it in enough, because the idea behind a white translucent powder is that it's supposed to have no color at all. Okay, so it's supposed to blend in very easily and disappear. Sometimes if I put too much or my skin's dry, it'll look a little white for like half an hour, but that always goes away and melts in. But it's important too that you choose a loose powder that's fitted to your skin type, okay? You want one, if you have oily skin, you want one that's more mattifying, and if you have dry skin, you want one that's more hydrating. I tend to like this one because I find it doesn't neither, so it's not gonna like dry my face out, but it's not gonna make it greasy either. That's the Miss Licky baking powder. And the other one I used was Patrick Star One Size, which normally comes in a size this big, but I'm using this yellow shade today. Okay, now we're gonna talk blush application. Okay, blush application. For most brown girls, you would have a golden undertone in your skin, or you could lean to more towards the neutral side, or you could even have a redder undertone if you're like from Sri Lanka or something. But I would recommend using a blush that's in a peachy pink shade. It's going to be the most flattering. If you choose a shade that's too neon pink, what it'll do is it'll counteract the tones in your skin and make your skin almost look green. And that's not very flattering, right? Like you don't want to make your face look green if it's not green, right? So I would recommend using a peachy pink. I'm going to reach for this Kimchi Chic. This is another affordable beauty option. And I'm going to apply that. Actually, no. You know, let's do something a little bit darker, something a little bit deeper. We're going to do the Revlon, the Maxi Blush. Where is it here? Just give me a second. I'm going to find it. There we go. The Revlon Maxi Blush. Okay. This shade here, it's like kind of like a hot pink, but it's not too. I don't know how it looks on camera, but in real life, it's not too pink. It's a little bit peachy. Okay. So you could use either a brush, your fingers, or a sponge. I do a sponge always because it fuses it and melts it into the skin. Okay. And so you just want to apply a little bit, just like that, right on, directly on your cheekbone. Okay, an upwards motion like that. That gives you that nice bright kind of Bollywood doll look without looking too made up. I find a lot of girls tend to put too much blush on. Okay. See, that just kind of makes the cheek pop. But if you keep it out of this eye area here, it makes your under eye still look really nice and bright and sculpted, okay? Do that. And now with blush application, okay, if you want to slim your face, you bring it into the inner part of your iris right here. Okay, so if I've lost a lot of weight, so I don't want to do that. I want to add a little bit of fullness to my face. So I'm going to do it to the outer part of my iris here. Bring it to here and it'll slim, and bring it to here and it'll add fullness to the face. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't want my face to look too skinny. Okay, let's do a pink on the other side just for shits and giggles, right? Okay, so let's try this one here by a company called Pinky Luxe. This is a cream blush. Okay, I really love this. It comes in like a rose. It's so cute. Guess I'm going to take my sponge. And you see the difference in between the color and the way it goes on because this is a cream. So it's a little bit more fresh and it looks, in my opinion, a little bit more natural, but the rimel is really good too though. If you want something a little bit more dramatic, like if you're going out for evening or something. Okay, perfect. And now if you did want to put a bronzer, because say your makeup is looking ashy in certain areas of the face, for me it's always going to be like the upper forehead, it might look a little ashy, or around the mouth. You can always apply a little bit of a bronzer, okay? So I'm going to reach for Fenty, which happens to be one of my favorite companies. This color is called Shady Biz. So it's not going to really darken your skin, but it's just going to counteract those ashy blue tones. Okay, so I'm going to sponge a little bit of that in. Just only where I need it, where it's looking ashy and blue. Okay. See, there we go. A little bit on the forehead. We do maybe a little bit around the mouth. Perfect. And voila. Got a perfect complexion. So for brows, I'm going to do the Plump and Set Brow Artist by L'Oreal. This is really good for people who already have dark brows and they want to just add just a little bit of definition. Okay, it doesn't have a lot of fibers in it, but it's a lot of color payoff. So it works for people that have really dark hair. If you have lighter hair, I would say this wouldn't be the shade for you. But if you have brown to black hair, this is definitely the color for you. And this is, I think it's dark brown. It's the deepest one they have, anyways. Not the black, but the deepest brown. Okay, I find a lot of girls tend to use brow gels that are a little too dark. I myself have even guilty of this, making them too dark and getting carried away with it, trying to make them even. Like you'll do them really well and then you're like, oh shit, this one looks more like this and this one like this. And you end up putting so much just to even them out. And then by the end you're like, whoa, look like a comic book hero or something, right? But anyways, so it's better to just do it lightly and just kind of fan it in like this. Follow your natural brow shape. Okay. Perfect. Just going to even this out. Perfect. And if you are South Asian, by all means, go for a black mascara. Just fucking do it. Just go for it, okay? It's gonna look good. I don't happen to have one right now, so I'm gonna use this brown, the same color of my brows. But if you have dark hair, by all means, go for that black mascara, okay? There's no other way. Just do it, okay? Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me. I'm sure I'll be hitting you up with some more South Asian inspired makeup tutorials in the future. Well, this is just for now. This is what I have and what's available. Okay, I'll show you in different lights. Okay, you see this side is more of a gold tone. This side's more, I guess you could say, neutral. Okay, but that really counteracts that blue under the eyes. Like I said, this shade of powder is best for medium to dark skin brown girls. Okay, thank you guys for joining me. Have a good night.